the most unique playoffs taking place in NBA history, and that's for several reasons. It's taking place inside the Orlando bubble. On opening day, there is no clear-cut favorite to win the title, and both teams in LA have highly favorable odds, although according to Caesars, the Lakers are favorites to win the West and then go on to win the NBA title. The Lakers boasting the power duo of LeBron and AD, while the Clippers depending highly on the couple of Kawhi and PG. Max, I'm going to ask you, which player in the playoffs is under the most pressure?
You ready for this? The player under the most pressure in these playoffs, now that Westbrook is compromised, because it would have been Harden, is Kawhi Leonard. He's the guy under the most pressure. And I'm not trying to hear, oh, come on, this is gravy for him. He's already just won Finals MVP. The bottom line is the Greek Freak, who choked in the playoffs last year, or whatever, wasn't hitting shots, right, and was stopped by Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, it'd be bad for him, especially if he doesn't make it, right? No question. But people see he's a transcendent talent. He's about to be back-to-back MVP of the regular season. He will get hit with a label. Well, can he deliver in the postseason? But given his age and his star status, he's going to have years left to prove it. There's more pressure on the Bucks, actually, than on Giannis in these playoffs if they want to keep Giannis, because there'll be excuses built in. He needs a better second banana than Middleton. Not that Middleton's not excellent. He is, but an even better one. All that. LeBron James, he and AD are going to have a chance next year. And, already people have baked in the excuses. You just heard Stephen A. in the last segment baking in the excuses for LeBron. Plus, LeBron's already going down in history as one of the three greatest players of all time. He'll never not be mentioned with Jordan and Kareem. To me, he's battling it out with Kareem, second greatest NBA player in history, right? Kawhi Leonard's not that. Kawhi Leonard started his career as board man gets paid. He's just trying to make the league. And because people have seen his journey, they never really believe that he's the best. But I've been telling you now for a while, Kawhi Leonard's been the best basketball player in the world for at least a year now. It was a tough, long road, but he got there. And there's never been a less respected two-time Finals MVP ever in the history of the NBA. Who's less respected as a two-time Finals MVP? People never believe Kawhi is the best. They believe it about LeBron. They believe it about KD. They believe it about Giannis because they see this kind of next level, especially offensive talent. But because Kawhi came up on the defensive side, because Kawhi's quiet, that silent assassin, because Kawhi is, he's not playing for the Lakers, playing for the Clippers. Because he was with Popovich, in San Antonio, it was like a machine. It was boring. Because when he goes to Toronto, KD gets hurt, and then Clay gets hurt. Oh, he wouldn't have won it without that. People never really believe in Kawhi. And if he slips, he's on a team. Well, he has Paul George, he has Beverly, and he has all these guys. He's on a real team. He has to come through in the biggest kind of way just to keep his head there with the other dudes, or he'll immediately be demoted in the public's mind. And don't think for a second that he feels that this is gravy time because he was never supposed to be on this level anyway. The type of mentality that takes you from board man gets paid because I just want to make the league to the guy who seemed to hold the future of all these NBA franchises in his hand. He was the tipping point for the NBA. If he goes here, they'll win. If he goes there, they'll win. LeBron's, wooing him to come to LA. He does, but goes to the other team, then trolls LeBron. That type of mentality, this is not gravy for him. This is everything for him. Most pressure on Kawhi.
You're wrong, but nothing else is new there. Here's the reality of the situation. When you look at Kawhi Leonard, first of all, I don't consider him the best player in the world right now. As a matter of fact, I don't know anybody who does other than you. We recognize that he's phenomenal. We recognize that he's great. We remember he's a two-time league MVP, NBA Finals MVP. But the only person that I've heard say he's the best in the world is you. So what? In the end, we believe it's still LeBron James right here, right now. And so I look at it, when I look at the Los Angeles Lakers, believe it or not, the person that especially, again, like you are right about Russell Westbrook going down and how that alleviates some pressure from Harden to some degree, but the person that I look at as having the most pressure is Anthony Davis, and that deviates from my position a few weeks ago when I brought in Harden and a couple of others. But I look at a guy like Anthony Davis, and I got to tell you something right now. I'm thinking about Anthony Davis. I'm not even worried about his numbers. I think that Anthony Davis could give you anywhere from 28 to 30 a night on about 12 to 15 rebounds a night. But I think it's not about numbers with him. It's literally about how he plays. When I watched the Portland Trail Blazers, for example, and I saw the way they struggled defensively, particularly against Brooklyn, I saw, Ja Morant put on a show and them coming up down with wide open lanes with Memphis on Saturday. I've seen other games that they've played. Again, their defense is highly suspect. They're a juggernaut offensively, led by Damian Lillard. There's nobody questioning that. But defensively, it's a huge, huge problem. And Nurkic got mad skills. He can really, really play. But defensively, there is something that is missing. When I think about Anthony Davis, you have to be in attack mode. You've got to attack the interior. You've got to be a man amongst boys. You've got to get the opposition into foul trouble. You can't have them fresh going up against you in the fourth quarter, because if they're fresh going up against you, they're going to be fresh going up against LeBron. But more importantly, those other Lakers that might not be able to handle the freshness that the opposing defenses may have at their disposal, because Anthony Davis was not in complete attack mode. That's what he has to do. He's never been out of the second round, okay? There's expectations that come with him. He's one of the top 5 players in the world, for him a number 1 overall pick, won a national championship at Kentucky. We know what he brings to the table. We know what he can bring to the tables. But it can't be just about numbers, especially since we've seen how the Lakers have played in this bubble. He's got to alleviate them by saying, give me the damn ball, and being a man in the post. Not shooting threes, not shooting 17-foot shots. I'm not saying eradicate that from your arsenal, but the vast majority of your damage has to be on the interior and in the open court. If you do those things, that's going to alleviate a lot of the concerns that people like myself and others have about the Lakers from what we've seen in the bubble. If you don't do that, you can get your numbers, but it's not going to amount to much for the Lakers in the postseason. Anthony Davis is on the clock right now.